If you set out to specifically make a comic that appealed to Kurt Williams, me, then it would probably look something like this comic. Howdy, I'm Kurt Williams, and today we're looking at issue 1 of Out of Alcatraz by Christopher Cantwell and Tyler Crook. When I see Cantwell's name on a comic, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. I felt like his Iron Man series was a little bit long-winded, but it was still pretty good. And I haven't read anything by Tyler Crook. I know he did a lot of work on BPRD stuff for the Hellboy universe, and he also did Harrow County, but I have unfortunately not had the chance to read any of that. However, just by seeing this cover on the stands, I knew it was for me because I love this aesthetic. Atomic era art from the 50s and the 60s. It looks like the Incredibles movie is exactly what I want to see. I love that period of American history. And heck, what's more American than a couple of dudes breaking out of prison so they can wear denim on denim and drive a wing-tipped Chevy all over the countryside? Nothing! What makes this better than just some cliched jailbreak story that takes place in the 60s is that this is based on an actual jailbreak where 4 dudes were supposed to break out of Alcatraz, but only 3 made it out of the prison and they were never seen again. And that is my favorite kind of historical fiction because it takes these facts that we've had for a long time and then it fills in all the cracks. It gives you the answers to those historical mysteries that have gone unsolved forever, but of course it's never going to give you just a straight up answer. It's going to be full of drama and intrigue. So in the comic, those 3 guys do make it out of Alcatraz, but only 2 of those guys get off the island and to the other side. One of them supposedly drowns in the water on the way. In real life, we did find pieces of the raft that they made, and we also found a baggie that had the wallet of one of the guys who escaped. And those things are very smoothly and naturally mentioned in here. What Cantwell added to the story, however, is that the guy who dropped his wallet in the water actually survived, even though the other 2 guys thought that he died, and now he's made it out and he's pissed that those 2 guys left him behind. So he's trying to catch up to him so he can have his revenge, and of course also the cops are looking for these guys. What complicates the story even more is that the guys who broke out were assisted by another party, and that party wants them to pay them back by going to work for them for a few years up in Canada. And because the deal was for 4 guys to get broken out and then do the work up in Canada, and they only have 2 guys to work with now, the people up in Canada want these 2 guys to work twice as long, which they figure is basically just another jail sentence. And then, on top of all of that, we have this woman whose name is never mentioned, who's working for the people up in Canada, and she's helping these convicts get to Canada. Now, one of the convicts mentions that she's colored, which it was the 60s, he probably thought he was being polite for the time, but if she is African American, she's very light-skinned. And there's this scene towards the beginning of the issue where another black woman kind of gives her a hard time. She says, "You like pretending to be one of them, have fun playing in their world while it lasts. You can always come home." And I wasn't quite sure what to make of that, if that has something to do with that woman knowing that she's working with criminals, or if it has something to do with her race. And then at the end of the issue, she gets attacked by this crazy gas attendant dude who says, "You don't think I know what you are." And of course, the first thought is that this guy knows that she's harboring escaped convicts. But if that was the case, he probably would have said, "You don't think I know who you are." So I'm left assuming that he's probably talking about race, about the fact that maybe she's mixed. So that's my biggest question mark, is I don't really know what's going on with this lady, but I am really excited that there's so many things going on in this story. There's a lot of depth that we're putting into this, semi-conspiracy type situation. The art is exactly what I would want for something like this. It's a little bit cartoony, it's a little bit soft, but it feels very nostalgic. The watercoloring is so great. I love watercoloring. The scene in the beginning where they're escaping Alcatraz and the waves are really high is great intensity. It really conveys that emotion. It feels very claustrophobic and wet. I love all these shots of the classic cars. The angles are nice. The lighting is really nice. Overall, it just gets that nostalgic feeling on point. You can tell that the writer and the artist are both doing a lot of research to make this as authentic as possible, and you can also tell that Cantwell is a screenwriter first. I think the Iron Man series he did that I collected all the way through felt like a TV show in the way that the pacing was more like a TV show, and every couple issues really amounted to 1 episode, which did sort of end up making the series feel kind of slow. But that's because Cantwell is locked into this decondensed style of comic storytelling where we take inspiration from TV shows, where we see everybody's reaction to things. So we're not just going one action to the next action to the next action. We're taking our time to see people's reactions to things, to give them a moment so we can feel what they're feeling. And I certainly prefer that mode of storytelling in comics at least 9 times out of 10, because I love watching TV and seeing how actors are portraying these complex emotions. And I really love it when a writer can get those same complex emotions into a comic book. On top of the great scenes I already mentioned in this issue, there are a bunch of other really engaging scenes. This is a really engaging read overall. I love the aesthetic, I love the writing, the art is a perfect fit. I wholeheartedly recommend getting it for yourself. It is $6, but there's a lot of pages in here. It's definitely bigger than a standard issue, and there's also a lot of story. If you like American history, if you like stories about conspiracies, if you just like general cowboy story vibes, then this is for you. I'm gonna give it a rating of 9 out of 10. I think it's a really great package. I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm gonna be looking for more opportunities to buy work by Tyler Crook because this is so well done. Now, on a less positive note, I've noticed that I've lost a few subscribers, and that's fine. I'm just gonna cry myself to sleep about it. Don't worry about it. I think it might be because I'm not planning another state trip yet, and that's what most of y'all are here to see. So in case anybody's interested, I've been looking at New Hampshire, which has about 24 comic shops. I could do that trip in 3 days. And I've also been looking at Massachusetts, which has closer to 55 comic shops, and that one I would probably need more than a week. I will be doing one of these states most likely in the next few months here, so please stay tuned for that. Don't leave me. And I've also been writing a script for a comic that I'm gonna draw because I feel like I just need to make a comic book, darn it. So bear with me, things are coming. It's just a lot going on right now, but they are on the way. Until next time, I'm Kurt Williams, and you are somebody else.